And people are so curious to know what a gray divorce is. Well, of course, it's nothing good. A divorce is a divorce, right? You would think. But then a lot of times, a gray divorce means depression, not enough money, yada yada. But let's find out what the real definition of a gray divorce is. I was just giving you ideas, but this is what it's really about. Let's go.
And while divorce rates overall are declining, the number of older adults, 50 and plus, splitting up, also called gray divorce, is on the rise, and it is proving to be a costly decision. More than half of married Americans say a divorce would derail their retirement plans. So here to explain how we can minimize the financial impact and burden of that, financial professional Nathan Fort from Vital Retirement Planners. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Good to see
tough
you.
subject.
Yeah, what is gray divorce?
Well, we hear a lot about silver things when it comes to retirees, but the word gray is now making its way into the conversation. You know, 1 in 3 divorces now are being considered a gray divorce, which is
1 out of 3. So that means most divorces are gray divorces.
a divorce that takes place in your 50s and 60s.
After being married for decades.
What's the point of getting divorced in your 50s and 60s? You tolerated the person all this time. Oh, that's right. See, you got to remember the boomers, they settled for convenience. So you have to remember most people, when they get married, they're not going to marry their ideal person. A lot of times people take the best deal they can. So they say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and settle for this person, even though they're not who I really want. But they have a good job, this, that, yada, yada. But even if they are a little overweight, too short, whatever, I'll just accept this for the time being.
Potentially decades,
right?
Yeah. And there are a lot of ideas about why people think this is happening, and you know, the statistics are showing that couples really just are drifting apart. Not, I mean, a few of them are, but financial reasons are a big part of this.
And see, I'm glad he brought that up. Financial reasons. So when I was in high school, which my last year of high school was 20 years ago, right? I know I still look young. I appreciate the compliments. Of course, I'm not the best looking guy, but that has nothing to do with this. What I'm saying is, my economics teacher said that most divorces are over money, financial issues. So it's not only do, you know, married couples, they gain weight, one person has a spending problem, one person's not doing it right in the bedroom. It's a lot of reasons. But over time, everything gets old. Having money gets old. Being flashy gets old. Buying you whatever you want gets old. And you always see that other person that you think is better than your current person, and you want to give it a try. So a lot of times, most people are waiting for their spouse to either die or no longer want to be with them no more. And this is usually within women. Most women are not in love with their husbands like that. They love them for what they do for them, sadly.
There was a book that was written recently that I thought was interesting. It showed that women tend to describe more verbal abuse and even addiction. Men tend to cite more financial problems and parenting differences. But the fact is, people probably need to date a lot more. They need to hang out a lot more and have...
Yeah, because see, it seems like people lose themselves within their marriages. Like, they stop hanging out with their friends and everything. Like, they're so focused. But see, people live busy lives now. With inflation and everything going up, the cost of living, people have to work 5 times as hard as they did versus a couple 30 years ago did. Like, a regular job pretty much got you through the basics. But now, just a person living by themselves has to work 2 or 3 jobs just to pay the rent. It's ridiculous. So just factor that in with kids, a mortgage, 2, 3 cars, etc. The more stuff you have, the more money it's going to cost. And a lot of times, most married couples are a paycheck away from losing it all. And forget about the retirement. It's not going to be enough to live on anyway.
Have a good
And
financial
talk to
plan
each other.
to reduce the stress, because that's a big part of it.
Yeah, empty nest is part of the reason, right? The kid's gone. What do you guys do then, right?
That's when they really figure out if they want to be together. But a lot of times, most married couples, they have it in their head that, you know, a divorce is mutual sometimes. Like, they'll be like, you know what? Let's just stay together until the children are out the house. So once the nest is empty, they start doing things behind their children's back, like filing for divorce and shit. Some people don't even tell their children that they're getting a divorce. They'll just leave that shit blowing in the wind. They find out, they find out. Sell the house, move into a one-bedroom apartment. But a lot of older married people don't want to do that, because a lot of times they don't want to pay $2,000-$3,000 a month for a decent one-bedroom apartment with a washer and dryer and everything in it. Like, whatever money they're going to live off on, it's going to get eaten up in rent. So a lot of these people can't 100% provide for themselves without needing some help from family or some kind of government assistance.
So how does divorce later in life affect our retirement? That's super scary.
Well, it can be very expensive, and according to a study done by AARP, or no, this was Allianz Life, actually, one of the insurance carriers, they showed that 56% of retirees would consider a divorce a financial disaster.
Like I said, the average person cannot 100% provide for themselves without signing up for some kind of government assistance. Because let alone you need money for hobbies, traveling, let alone you need to have a little nest for emergencies. A lot of people just can't do it. Not unless they're going to move back with their family or live with a sibling or friend. Like, who wants to be roommates at middle age? Let's just be real. But then that's what most marriages are anyway. Once everything stops, once you guys stop having sex and everything, you guys are basically just roommates. But what if your roommate wants to divorce you? Then you're really in trouble.
It would be a really big deal for them, and for a lot of reasons, for pensions and Social Security and retirement accounts are really designed to support one household. But now, if you split up into multiple households, you have multiple sets of financial liabilities, and that can be a concern. What's interesting is when some of my clients have learned about some of the financial and economic benefits of being married, we've had some unmarried couples actually get married.
Back together. Oh.
In the last 12 months, we've had a couple, two separate couples get married. Because
for financial reasons.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they understood the benefits with Social Security and IRAs and joint survivor benefits.
That's the only reason why people get married in the first place, because a lot of times it has nothing to do about falling in love and all this other bullshit. It's a business. People get married for business reasons, financial reasons. It's just you have to be a good business partner. Never mind the spiciness in the bedroom, because most people are bad at sex anyway. Let's just be real. That's why a lot of times they end up going to other venues, branching off to other venues for sex. The strip clubs, escort sites.
With pensions and annuity plans, and so it's kind of interesting.
There are good things about being married.
Yes.
Nathan. All right, what steps should we take if we're worried about the impact of divorce on
You should have a financial plan. You really need a high level of clarity. Clarity helps you understand opportunities and challenges, and it empowers you to plan and to take control over things that are really within your sphere of influence. And only then are you really going to be confident. Now, when you have a plan, you can stress test that plan and say, well, what does this plan look like if there's just one of us? A lot of what we do is a survivor plan. So what would your retirement look like when one of you passes away? It's rare that couples pass away together. Usually.
You heard that? So this dream and this idea of falling madly in love with somebody and marrying them until death does its part, it's probably not going to do that part with you guys together. Death is for sure going to happen, but just not with you guys holding each other's hands at the same time. The only way you guys are going to die together is in a tragic accident. Let's say the airplane crashed and everybody died, or a car accident, train tracks, that type of shit. Because most people are not going to die together, even if they do stay married their whole lives. One person dies off before the other. The other person lives way longer than the other person they originally married. Just stuff like that. So there's a small percentage of people that actually die together, unless the house was burned up or something, But that's kind of depressing, though.
There's a survivor situation. So you just need to have clarity about that. Take control where control can be taken, and then you'll be confident and less stressed.
And here's another key factor. A study was shown that it's cheaper for a man to have escorts than it is to have a wife. So this has nothing to do with getting women for free, having game, mouthpiece. That's child shit. That's like, if you're still in that stage and you're in your late 30s, then something's wrong with you. That's no different than you still hating out at the nightclubs every weekend and you're almost 40. Why the hell are you at the nightclubs every weekend like you're 23 years old? Stupid. Anyways, KVUE, I'll catch you in the next one. Later.